Hey guys, I've had to put the door down here. It's really windy out right now, and there's little schmutz on the camera. Hopefully that's better. Gonna be making a homemade carbonation cap this week. I'll put a little picture up in the corner here to show you what it looks like when it's mass manufactured. I was looking around. They don't carry them at my local homebrew, so I was looking around for an alternative, and I came across a web page. You see a link up there if I remember to put it up there. And I thought that was a really interesting idea, so I decided to build one. I realized I had most of the parts. I had to buy one or two things, and so I'm gonna show you step by step how it's done. So let's get started. Well, I tell you one thing, this camera handles low light really good. I set this light up here so I could give you a little bit extra, but it doesn't look like I'll need it. It looks like it's bright enough. So let's get that out of the way. It's actually brighter in the camera than it is here in real life. Okay, step one, find the parts that I'm missing. Alright, first thing we need to do is take our cap here. Comes off of a 710 bottle. I'm just blocking out the logo there just in case. But just a cap off the top. And we need to drill it so that we can install this guy. What happens is this nut will come off, this washer will come off, and then we need to drill this the size of this step right here, which I've measured it, and that step is a 1/2 inch. I'm using an end mill to drill this, but only because I want a nice clean hole. If you have a drill, go ahead with a drill. Probably a spade bit would be a little bit better. But just drill a hole however you can. Just want to check this. Make sure I'm coming down relatively close to center. All right. I was expecting that to happen. Maybe not quite so violently, but I was expecting it to happen. Okay, I've got a little plug in there, but I gotta cut it out. I can't pull it out. But I created a pretty decent hole, actually. There's a little bit of a burr. I'll just take a knife and cut that away. And we'll move over to the bench and get ready for step 2. Alright, I got my cheap little knife. Just gonna take and trim this burr up. The burr on the top is not such a big deal. It'll be hidden. It's the one on the inside you want to take care with. Alright, so the cleaner that is, the less chance you'll have of a leak. I take this guy. Oh, can't get the top off. That pushes up from underneath. Now, I don't know if this is a new design or what, but instead of having the insert, let me see if I can get a little bit better here. Instead of having an insert like caps used to, this one has a ridge that runs around the inside to seal the bottle. When there's pressure inside it, that lip will actually push out against the edge of the bottle. So you have to be pretty accurate when you're drilling your hole. Mine is a little off center, but it should still fit. And it does, you can see there. And if you look on this side, you can see the rubber. And then we put our washer on, concave side down, so that as you pull it tight, it'll actually pull this rubber up. Doesn't need to be super tight. You're only putting, what, probably 30 to 40 pounds at the absolute maximum in these. But there's your cap. Quick note on these thread in or bolt in valves. I got this years ago at Princess Auto, which for you in the States is basically Harbor Freight. They're not the same company, but they sell sort of the same type products. And I got this there for a different project. I actually got two of them. Originally, I checked at Canadian Tire, and they didn't have them. They just had the rubber ones. So you might have a little bit of a difficulty finding these guys, but they are available. They are around. If you can't find them at your local hardware or your local auto center, try like a more truck-oriented store, and you should have better luck. But now we're going to go inside, and I'll show you the other half of the system. Alright, so I filled that bottle with a little bit of water, and it's in the freezer cooling down. Needs to be cold in order to take up the CO2 much more efficiently. But I figured I'd show you some of the plumbing involved. Got my CO2 tank, and it goes into the fridge. And then it comes out back here. And there's a T. Get this line out of the way and you can see. There's a T there. This line here goes to my two kegs. And then the one coming off the bottom goes to this pin valve. And you notice I don't have any clamps here. It is clamped on the other side. I ran out. I recently replumbed and I ran out of clamps, but it's only under 10 psi, so it's not. There's no problem there. It's not going to pop off or anything, and you can see there. There's CO2 coming out of there. This is the other half of the filling system. It's just a ball chuck or an air chuck or something along those lines, they call it, depending on where you are. Just for filling tires. You can find it at any hardware store. And that goes into a 1/4 inch pipe thread to a 1/4 inch, I think they call them barb fittings. And then that goes into the hose. So that's all that's involved. Very simple. You could, in theory, put a one of these connections on the end of this, and then run liquid out of your keg directly into a bottle. Just like put the thing on the top and you're done. But I personally wouldn't recommend running liquids through these. There is the potential lead hazard, although it's very minimal. It's easier just to fill the bottle, probably directly from your tap, and then top up the CO2 in it so it doesn't go flat. That'll be it for now. I'll be back in just a sec when the bottle has cooled down enough, and I'll put some stuff in it for you. Alright, hopefully you can see everything okay. There's my bottle. It's been in the freezer for about half an hour, 45 minutes. And I added some flavoring to it, just so it was a little more interesting than tasting water. Here's my end. Oh. Something that I would suggest you do too is pull all the air out of it, and then Alright, so I filled it and I shook it for about 5 minutes. Maybe a little longer, maybe like 7 minutes, but either way, this is what I ended up with. Pretty hard. It's only at, what did I say earlier? I think I said 9 or 10 pounds. It's at that. But what you would normally do is then take this, put it back into the freezer, and just leave it for like another hour. Just give all this CO2 a chance to dissolve into the system. But since I don't have an hour, I'm going to bleed off the excess pressure. You can see I'm squeezing the bottle here. I don't know how well you can see, but I'm going to try it. It's not bad. Still a little flat, needs a little bit more flavor, but it's good. Yeah, I like it. Alright, just wanted to mention too, you could do this with any cap. As long as it's got a flat top on it, it'll work. Even metal caps, although you probably want to be a little bit more careful with those because they could, when you're drilling a hole in these metal caps, they could create nice shards of metal and cut you. So, if you're interested in making one, check the link in the description for the website I actually got this idea from. And you guys have yourselves a good day.